Welcome back, Wolfpack. Verlis here. I've been waiting all year to say this. Happy Numel Day, guys. Numel Day is a day where we celebrate the bustedness that is Numel for bringing some incredible strategy. Why December 8th? Well, it's the day I made the video. So let's go and look at what Numel is capable of. And it's all going to come from this simple ability. Pokemon has its own stat boost doubled as they happen. So also that works with stat drops, but we're not going to worry about that. And here's the thing, I'm a huge fan of Stockpile. Stockpile is probably my favorite move in the game because a lot of Pokemon that get access to it just play the game so well with it that you suddenly have 2.5 times your defense and it goes on a tanky Pokemon generally with Stockpile. Now you have an unstoppable force. With Numel, it breaks everything. That the cap for Stockpile, even though you can only use it 3 times, since all the stats are getting doubled, he can max out his stats off just 3 Stockpiles, which is really cool. After that, you have Eviolite, which gives you tankiness, and then depending on how you do your stat breakdown, you just become a wall that takes no damage, and really the only time you have to worry is like the first turn. That the first turn is a hard, super effective one-hit KO, super busted move, then you're not going to do much, but no Pokemon would do much. If you can get that set up to where suddenly your defenses are doubled, or even tripled, or if you can keep getting the stats in while your opponent is setting up, you'll set up harder, and then you can just obliterate your opponent. So let's go and take a look at what I was thinking about for the EVs. So with the careful nature, you're going to gain special defense, and then you're just going to have this really balanced spread. That with 200 hit points, you're actually getting the most out of your Pokemon. That I also did a video a while back explaining that depending on how you slide these little things for the hit points, you can kind of come up with an excellent EV spread that makes you take even 3% less damage, but over the course of the game, that could actually mean a lot, especially while setting up a tanky Pokemon. So with the 200 hit points, you're actually efficiently getting, or you're getting more effective health, and becomes more efficient because with more stats in your defenses, Eviolite is boosting those stat boosts, and Stockpile is going to give you more points. So instead of having 10 points in hit points, now we're having roughly like 60 points spread between the defenses extra, which is very strong. So when we kind of look into everything else, you need to have some form of knocking out your opponent. Now, there's many ways of running Numel that we will cover later in this video. So I was thinking Will-O-Wisp. Will-O-Wisp will make it to where your opponent does about an 1/8 physical damage to you. That with your defenses being quadrupled and then Will-O-Wisp cutting their attack in half, they'll have no physical options, which is why, we're going to try to at least keep that special defense neutral. Now with even with your defenses. Now with the special defense, you're really going to have to worry about water type moves. So this is just kind of like a broad handling for special type special attackers. Then after that, we need something to hit. Now Will-O-Wisp, you can't burn fire types, so I was thinking Rock Slide is good because that way you don't get walled out by flying types. Because like if you had Earthquake and Will-O-Wisp, Talonflame would just ruin your day. So Rock Slide's going to handle flying types, Will-O-Wisp will let you burn, fire types will also be handled, and then Rest. Even though you have like no Chesto Resto, you have so much defenses that you'll be able to wake up from a rest, attack, and then rest again. Now it is very stally, which means once you get that Will-O-Wisp set up, you're effectively going to rest until your opponent gets knocked out. Not a fun set, but hey, you're obliterating your opponent with Numel. There's nothing else to say here. Then we also have Curse Amnesia. Curse Amnesia can be better in certain situations that let you set up hard against a special attacker. That Amnesia boosts your special defense by 2. Simple, makes it 4. So now we're going to all of a sudden just 3 times special defense on the first turn, which means we don't have to invest as hard into it. So 40 points in that special defense, you can put a little more into the hit points in this case, and then your defense is going to be higher overall. Now you don't get that Will-O-Wisp, so it's good to have that higher defense at this stage. So then you go into Curse, and then Curse is going to raise your attack, raise your defense, which means now you're going to be getting pretty much a Swords Dance and an Iron Defense in the same turn, every turn. And after that, we just have Flame Charge. I was thinking Flame Charge works because after you use Curse a couple times, once you use 3 Flame Charges, you're back at neutral speed, and then when you use 3 more Flame Charges, now your opponent is going to be, you're going to be outspeeding your opponent quite a bit to a degree. That you're going to have 4 times your speed, so that is 400 speed at level 100. Which means you're going to actually be able to outspeed quite a few Pokemon, which is pretty cool, that once you get that Flame Charge set up. And then you're just relying on having a max attack Flame Charge hit. Now I would recommend maxing out the PP of Flame Charge, that way it's just going to be chipping your opponent away. Now this strategy does kind of falter because if they have leftovers, hard sustain, it could generally take a long time to break that down. So this is you can use it, or you can go for a more risky move. Use something like Earthquake, well, not Flame Chargier, but if you have something like Earthquake, it's going to get stabbed, it's going to have an incredible amount of damage by this point, because then now we're looking at over 600 attack, throwing out a stab Earthquake. you will get walled out by Flying type or Levitate Pokemon, but it's kind of like which trade you want to do. Numel isn't supposed to go 6-0. It's supposed to be just Pokemon you set up, you score some cheese KOs, and then your opponent just sits there going, what am I doing with my life? I just lost to a Numel. So that's going to be the breakdown of that. And then finally, we have Stockpile Growth. That instead of kind of going with the Curse Amnesia, you can go for Stockpile Growth, Flame Charge, and this is going to be a little extra gimmick cheese that is going to add to where now you're going to have max speed, max defenses, and max attack and special attack on one Pokemon setting up by itself. Now that's how you win. That's how you style all over your opponent right there. So again, I've seen it work. Like I've seen Flame Charges go 6-0. It just, your opponent has to bring the right team. At least with this setup, you're going to be able to get that Will-O-Wisp and at least chip away your opponent, or at least have some kind of impact. That if you Will-O-Wisp, they have to switch out. You Will-O-Wisp them again, they realize they can't handle the Numel. You might be able to get 2 Will-O-Wisps and a KO in your setup, which is far more than what a Numel should be worth, at least on the surface. So that's the Numel strategy, guys. Excellent EV spread, I think. I think this is the best I could come up with after doing like a lot of damage calcs and various things to make Numel work. So hopefully, guys, you enjoyed this video. Numel, happy Numel Day. I've got an awesome battle coming up for you guys. So hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you all get ready for a really nice day.